Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 22. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribrajakachaja Stotara Sata Sri Srimad Haisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 22. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grinati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya Navani grinati naro parani Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyati samyati navani dehi Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya Navani grinati naro parani Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani samyati navani dehi Vasamsi garments. Jirnani, old and worn out. Yata, as it is. Vihaya, giving up. Navani, new garments. Grinati, does accept. Nara, a man. Aparani, other. Tata, in the same way. Sharirani, bodies. Vihaya, giving up. Jirnani, old and useless. Anyani, different. Samyati, verily accepts. Navani, new sets. Dehi, the embodied. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. Purport. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even some of the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the Supersoul. The Supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one fulfills the desire of another, as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mundaka Upanishad, as well as the Sweta Ashvatar Upanishad, compare the soul and the Supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two fruits of the material tree, while of these two fruits of the material, of these two birds, although they are in the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing its position from one tree to another, or from one body to another. The jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as his supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntarily surrendering to Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Katha Upanishad and Shvetashvatara Upanishad confirm this. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya suchati muhayamanaha justam yada pashyati anyami shamasya mahimanamiti vitashoka. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna, and he is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher state of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Vasam sijirnani yata vihaya navani grinati naro aparani tata sharirani vihaya grinani anyati samyati navani dei. So here Krishna is continuing his explanation of who we really are, which is we are spirit souls. I cannot stress enough the importance of understanding the nature of who we are as the spirit soul, as opposed to the nature we are being taught from childhood that we're the body, that somehow I am a man, I am from this country, I belong to this family, I belong to this nation, this community, I pay obeisances to my flag, I'm a patriot. All these are temporary designations which have nothing to do with who I really am, which is a spirit soul. To understand this, we have to make a leap in faith. We have to go beyond what we've seen since childhood, what we've been taught since childhood. We have to overstep that. At the moment, people's vision is like the vision of the frog in a well. Now, the frog has been born and brought up in the well. It doesn't have any other experience except what he sees around the well, which is 10 feet wide by maybe 20 feet, 30 feet deep. And it doesn't understand that beyond the well, there are oceans which contain billions of wells. You cannot compare, you cannot measure the size of the Atlantic Ocean with the parameters of well consciousness. In the same way, we cannot conceive of the unlimited nature of God by simply understanding this material nature. It is not enough. We have to go beyond. That means we have to get the knowledge from an outside source. What is that outside source? That outside source is one who has got the knowledge from Krishna. It is not possible to go directly to Krishna. Even if you begin reading Bhagavad Gita, even if you begin to build a trust and an affection for Krishna, the result of that affection and trust, the result of that beginning, that budding of the Bhakti Lata, the Bhakti Kripa, is that Krishna will send you someone, he will send you one of his servants who will teach you and train you in such a way that you become qualified to associate with Krishna directly. From material consciousness, it is not possible to associate with Krishna because we cannot have that knowledge, because we are limited by this well mentality. Therefore, Krishna stresses in this chapter again and again, not just once, many, many times, that you're a spirit soul. The soul is eternal. It cannot be cut. It cannot be divided. It is Shashwata, Purana. It is unchangeable. It is beginningless. Na hanyate hanyamane sharira. When the body dies, the soul does not die. Now, when you understand this very simple fact, you make a quantum leap in knowledge. You become open to receive the knowledge from God. Obviously, if our consciousness is limited by the well-like mentality, if we don't understand that there is something beyond, then we are closed to understanding that which is beyond the senses. So Arjuna understood this. He understood that he was in a situation where his attachments for his kinsmen, for his family, for his guru, for his cousins, he understood that for his land, for his kingdom, he understood that this attachment was limiting him. He was not able to understand how to overcome this attachment, how to deal with it. He didn't even know how to overcome it, how to deal with it. That attachment was causing him pain. Therefore, he said to Krishna, my dear Krishna, Karpanya dosha upata swabhava. My swabhava, my consciousness, my nature, it has become karpanya, it has become limited by this attachment to family and kingdom and friends. And it is giving me pain. Karpanya dosha upata swabhava. Prichami tvam dharma samuda chetaha. I am asking you because I have become confused about my duty, what I should do. In other words, on one side, he was a warrior. He was a kshatriya. Kshatriya means the arms of the society. Kshat means pain, trouble, and trayate means to liberate. So kshatriya means one who frees everyone else from trouble. And on the one side, he understood his nature is a kshatriya. He was trained from early childhood to become a prince, to become a warrior. Now when the opportunity arrives to execute his training, to put into practice what he had learned, he found he was unable to do it. Therefore, he became confused. So, prichami tvam dharma samuda. He became dharma samuda. He became confused about what is his dharma, what is his duty. We all have a dharma. Our dharma, as living entities, it's to serve others. It's to give to others. Just like the dharma of my finger and my hand is to put food in my stomach. Simply by putting food in the stomach, the whole body becomes happy. In the same way, we live in a social body. If we give service to that body, then the whole social body, I become happy. Therefore, Krishna is the bhokta. Krishna says, bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna says, I am sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am the supreme controller of everything, of all planets and universes. And I am the bhokta, the enjoyer of all sacrifices and all austerities. What is the sacrifice? The sacrifice is to take something and before you enjoy it, to give it to Krishna. Just like my hand takes a rasgulla and it cannot enjoy it unless it puts it into the mouth and it goes into the stomach. And from there, the enjoyment comes to the fingers and every other part of the body. So Krishna is the supreme body, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Because he is the Maheshwaram, the supreme owner of everything, therefore, he is the proper person to whom we can offer sacrifices and penances. So, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suridam Sarvabhutanam, Krishna says, I am the friend of everyone. Nyatvam, understanding that, Shantim Drishati, one can become peaceful. So Arjuna was anything but peaceful. He was very disturbed about his nature. So Dharma Samuda Chetaha. So he asked Krishna, Yat Shriyasyan Nishchitam Bruitam Me Shishasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Please instruct me what is Shreya, what is good for me. Shishasteham, I am your disciple. Tvam Prapannam, I surrender to you. This is the process of understanding Bhagavad Gita. We don't understand Bhagavad Gita in a detached way. We don't study, you cannot study Krishna in a detached way. The only way you can connect with Krishna is to accept his position as the Supreme Lord, as the enjoyer, and as the controller and owner of everything, and surrender to him. And this process of surrendering is called bhakti. When we practice our relationship with Krishna without any motive, without any desire to get anything back from Krishna, when we come towards Krishna and admit that, dear Krishna, I am here, I have forgotten you for such a long time, I have become disturbed and I have become an ignorant fool because of my attachment to matter. I have created so many reactions. I have baggages and baggages of sinful activities which I'm bringing with me from lives and lives since the beginningless. But I'm coming to you honestly and saying, here I am with all my imperfection, and I'm surrendering to you. And I don't want anything in exchange. Whatever you decide to do with me, I will accept. That is called pure bhakti. And pure bhakti has six divisions. According to Rupa Goswami, if you study Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, the first chapter explains the nature of pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Pure bhakti is the beginning of the removal of all material distress. And pure bhakti puts you in a transcendental position. You cannot be happy on the material position. The only way we can be happy is to reflect the truth of who we are in our day-to-day life. And that truth is that I am a spirit soul and I am dependent upon the Supreme Spirit. Two birds in a tree. I am taking the fruits of the tree. Sometimes the fruits are sweet, I'm enjoying. Sometimes the fruits are bitter and I'm suffering. And then I go to another tree and to another tree. Body after body after body. And my friend, the super soul who's in the heart with me, he goes with me and he satisfies my desires, but he doesn't himself become entangled. So, Shreya, or activities which help me by pure devotional service. So first, all material distress becomes annihilated. You become free from material distress when you understand, when you can relate to Krishna without any attachment, when you surrender. Then all the problems are with Krishna, not with me anymore. And that is the transcendental position. And the fourth is that when one becomes engaged in pure devotional service, he enjoys that relationship with Krishna so much, he does not even want to be liberated. One in pure devotional service derides the concept of liberation. He doesn't want to be liberated from material life. He doesn't care. Lord Chaitanya said, Jammani, Jammani, Ishvare, Bhavatad, Bhaktir, Ahitukitwai. Life after life after life, I don't mind taking birth, but let me be connected with you in devotional service. Becoming liberated means going into the kingdom of God. Actually, there are 5 liberations, but going into the kingdom of God, which is called Salokya, even having a similar body as Vishnu, Sarupya, or the same opulences as Krishna, Shastri, but or being an associate of Lord, Samipya, doesn't mean that you have a personal day-to-day relationship. Krishna gives you liberation. He gives you a place in Vaikuntha. He gives you a body like his. He gives you all opulences. He makes you one of his servants. But it doesn't become dependent upon you. And pure devotional service makes Krishna dependent on you. You become so connected with Krishna that what you do affects Krishna. And what Krishna does affects you. It is an ongoing relationship which is beyond anything which can be described in the material world. So, and pure devotional service is very rarely achieved. It is easy to become liberated, but to become intimately connected with Krishna as his intimate servants, that is a different thing. You can go and live in somebody's kingdom, which is very flourishing and very wonderful. You can go and live in Indra's kingdom in the heavenly planets. That doesn't mean you have a one-to-one relationship with Indra. It doesn't mean you become his best friend or his best lover. It doesn't mean he becomes dependent upon you. So pure devotional service is very rarely achieved. And the 6th quality of pure devotional service is that pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. Krishna has got everything. There is nothing under the sun which you can offer to Krishna, because Krishna already is the owner of everything. There is only one thing Krishna doesn't have. Out of everything you see, out of the whole creation, all the universes, Krishna is the owner. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's the Maha Ishwara, the supreme controller and owner of everything. Nothing doesn't belong to him except one thing, and that is our independence. Our ability, our independence to choose whether to be Krishna conscious or not. Our independence to choose whether to serve Krishna or to serve our senses. That is the only thing that Krishna doesn't have. And he wants us to give that independence to him. That is attracted to Krishna. And that is done through pure devotional service, which has the power to attract even Krishna, because pure devotional service is manifested by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, because she is his personal internal potency. Krishna is Madan Mohan. He can attract even Cupid, the goddess of love. And Radharani is Madana Mohana Mohini. She attracts even him. So, because she is his internal potency. And therefore, when we become pure devotees of Krishna, we, by the mercy of our spiritual master, by the mercy of Prabhupada, we will serve Krishna through Lakshmi, through Radharani, and that is the power to attract Krishna. So these are the 6 processes of devotional service, but it is very, very rarely achieved. And as I was explaining at the beginning of the lecture, to go back to what Krishna is teaching, I'm not teaching you anything. I'm teaching you what I'm learning from Krishna. I'm simply repeating like a parrot. I have no power. Whatever power I have is given to me by the mercy of Prabhupada and the mercy of Krishna. It's not very much, but spiritual power as the essence, that even a little bit of spiritual power goes a long, long, long way. So, in this verse, this is a very beautiful verse. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. When your garments become jirnani, old and useless, then you get a new set of garments. In the same way, when your body, this body, it is a garment. Beyond this body is the subtle body made of the mind, intelligence, and ego. And beyond the subtle body is the spirit soul. The spirit soul manifests in the material body, but originally the spirit soul is independent of matter. It is Tatashta Shakti. Tatashta Shakti, Krishna, Jivera Swarup Hoy, Nitya Krishna Das. The soul is the eternal servant of God. Krishna, Tatashta Shakti. It is the marginal energy of Krishna, Bheda, Abheda, Prakash. It is manifested and non-manifested. It is just like on the beach. There is part of the beach, part of the sand. When the ocean, the waves come in, they cover the sand with water. And when the waves go out, the water goes away from the sand. So the spirit soul is like that, the living entity. It is equal to Krishna, but at the same time it is different. It is called Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, or the philosophy of inconceivable. Achintya. Chinta means intelligence. Chinta means process of understanding, of reasoning. So Achintya, beyond the process of it, you cannot describe it. It is Achintya, it is inconceivable. One and different. So we are one with Krishna and we are different with Krishna. And that situation is eternal, cannot be changed. And when we rediscover this situation, we become happy. Because when we execute our independence in relationship with Krishna, we become happy. And when we execute our independence in the limited situation of frog mentality, then we take birth after birth after birth, as is explained in this verse. Just like we take new clothes, so the soul takes new bodies again and again and again. This explanation you will not find in any mundane religion. the understanding of the soul, and this process of disintegrating from the body and integrating into another body is only taught by Bhagavad Gita, by Lord Krishna, and by pure bhakti. Therefore, Prabhupada kept insisting that the science of Bhagavad Gita, the science of the soul, is scientific. It is not a religion. It's not something you can believe or not. It is not optional. The only option we have is whether we want to continue this process of birth and death, whether we want to continue to live in this gigantic slaughterhouse, which is the material world, and we are getting killed life after life after life, or whether we stop and consider why I am in this situation, what am I doing here, why am I being forced to remain in the slaughterhouse, and why am I being forced to be slaughtered mercilessly and accepting body after body after body? What is the reason? And then we can begin to understand our nature as a spirit soul. We can surrender to Krishna, and then the 6 processes of pure bhakti can awaken in our heart, and we become free and we become happy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, we have Anna Maria, Hare Krishna, more obeisances to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and Mandi Prior, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to you, my dear devotees, my dear ladies. Thank you for participating, and please, if you have any questions, leave your messages. Thank you very much. Haribol. See you on Wednesday.